Welcome to today's presentation on Mason General Medical Campus, Setting the Vision. Welcome to the future of health and nursing care. My name is Linda Hayes Bennett, lead consultant with Pinnacle HR Consulting Group. Thank you for the opportunity to present a precision strategic vision for Mason General Medical Campus. Mason General is a CMS 5-star rated hospital and Leapfrog Grade A institution. We have earned the trust of this community. We have built something genuinely exceptional, a clinical culture described by our own employees as family-like, collaborative, and purposeful. Our job today is not to tell you what is broken. Our job is to show you what is possible. Mason General Medical Campus has every ingredient needed to become the premier employer of choice in the greater Northern Virginia region, not just in healthcare, but across every industry. The talent is here. The mission is here. The community connection, here. What Pinnacle HR Consulting brings is a precision strategic architecture to make that potential permanent. 6 recommendations, 1 vision. Let us begin. First question any great employer must answer is simple. Why would the best people choose us? For Mason General, the answer is compelling, but only if we tell the story correctly. CMS 5-star quality, Leapfrog Grade A safety, a community-centered mission, full tuition scholarships, child care subsidies, student loan reimbursement, self-scheduling technology, retention bonuses at 12, 24, and 60 months. A clinical ladder from CN1 through CN4, and employee resource groups that reflect the rich diversity of the amazing community that Mason General serves. That is a story worth telling, and Pinnacle HR Consulting Group has designed the platform strategy and advertisements to tell it. Our recommended recruit. I'm here to tell you that a great recruitment program gets candidates in the door. A great compensation model keeps them with the organization long term. Mason General already leads its competitors in several important areas. 20 total paid time off days, best in class regionally, disability insurance, a 401k with matching. These are genuine advantages that belong in every recruitment conversation. Pinnacle HR Consulting Group recommends building on that foundation with targeted investments that close remaining gaps and create a total rewards package that is genuinely, difficult to leave. Leader-based pay moves to $45 per hour within 12 months. Market competitive and tied to longevity incentives that reward leaders who stay and grow. BSN nurse pay rises to $33.50 per hour with a $2 night differential, matching the regional market while honoring the particular demands of shift nursing. Education assistance increases to $52.50 per year with a retention agreement, transforming a benefit that few use into a powerful commitment device. Student loan reimbursement launches at $3,000 per year, up to $15,000 total, a benefit currently offered by a local competitor that Mason General must match to compete. For the 25% of this metropolitan community who are veterans or military families, currently only 7.6% of the MGMC workforce, a dedicated military benefits integration program, flexible scheduling for reserve duty, and veteran hiring preference will unlock a disciplined, experienced, mission-oriented talent pool that is currently underrepresented. Non-monetary benefits complete the package. Child care subsidy for 35% of our staff who are single parents. Pre-tax transit benefit for the 65% who use public transportation. Wellness stipend, uniform allowances, and a children's college scholarship fund for nurses with 5 or more years of service. This is not simply compensation. This is a statement of organizational values. Mason General invests in its people, and its people invest back with loyalty and reliable service. Community Mason General serves is extraordinary in its diversity. 35% white, 28% Black and African American, 22% Hispanic and Latino, 15% Asian and Pacific Islander, with 20% of our local residents living with disabilities, and 25% connected to military service. That community deserves to see itself reflected in the people caring for it, and our employees serving that community deserve to feel that they belong. Pinnacle HR Consulting Group recommends launching 6 now employee resource groups, one for each of the community populations most underrepresented in the current MGMC workforce. The Women's ERG addresses pay equity, childcare and family leave, and women in leadership mentorship. The Black and African American ERG builds the leadership pipeline, advocates for equitable performance review, and celebrates cultural connection. The Latino and Hispanic ERG advances bilingual services, community recruitment, and career advancement pathways. The Veterans and Military ERG integrates military benefits, supports peer wellness, and channels military leadership experience into organizational development. Our Persons with Disabilities ERG audits workplace accessibility, supports inclusive hiring, and builds anti-stigma education across departments, while our Experienced Professionals and Intergenerational ERG combats ageism, reverse mentorship, phased retirement, knowledge transfer, and intergenerational bridges. Each ERG receives executive sponsorship, a dedicated budget, and continual direct access to senior leadership. Each ERG defines its own goals, its own memberships, and its own success. This is belonging with purpose. Employees who feel seen, heard, and valued do not leave. They lead. Again, I'm Dr. Linda Hayes Bennett. Let's talk about leadership development. Mason General's next generation of leaders is already here. They are in the hallways, at the bedsides, and in the departments of this institution right now. What they need is a structured pathway to realize their potential, an organizational commitment to walking that pathway with them. This program operates at 3 levels simultaneously. As an organizational development initiative, the MGL Academy commits MGMC to continuously improving leadership efficiency, communication, and performance through structured, data-driven processes. As an employee relationship management strategy, it holds every leader accountable, not just for operational outcomes, but for the quality of relationships that they build, because it is the leader's responsibility to guarantee that strong relationships are developed so that employees can deliver their best work. And as a change management process, it applies Kotter's 8-step framework, creating urgency around the data, building coalition, sustaining momentum to close the demographic leadership gap that currently separates MGMC from the community it serves. The Mason General Leadership Academy is a 3-track, merit-based development program. Track 1, identification. Data-driven, high-potential selection with diverse candidate slates required for every opening. Merit-based, not quota-driven. Track 2, development, a 12-month curriculum, including executive membership and mentorship, pairing, cross-departmental rotation, emotional intelligence training, and cultural humility practice. Track 3, retention. salary progression tied to tenure milestones, senior advisory roles for long-tenured staff, and knowledge transfer protocols that preserve institutional wisdom before it walks out the door or retires. The target is clear: leadership demographics that directly reflect the community within 36 months. Excellence earns its place. And at Mason General, excellence will finally have the infrastructure to grow. Everything we have described, our recruitment strategy, the compensation model, the ERGs, the Leadership Academy, only works if the daily experience of working at Mason General matches the promise. The Employee Engagement Survey tells us where the gaps are. 6 items are currently rated not satisfied: workload manageability, psychological safety, fair treatment, valuing of diverse perspectives, regular coaching and feedback, and clarity of goals. These are not peripheral concerns. They are the foundation of a functioning workplace. The good news is that every single one of these items is addressable through management practices and not capital investments. Our recommendations are direct. 90-day structured onboarding replaces our current one-day only orientation, giving new employees the time, the shadowing, and the systems immersion they need to succeed from day one. Manager accountability scorecards tie leader evaluation directly to their team's engagement scores, creating shared ownership of the culture. Monthly one-on-one coaching meetings become mandatory for all direct reports. Quarterly pulse surveys with transparency of results close this feedback loop. Workload equity audits redistribute task burden semi-annually, and a clear goal-setting framework cascades from organizational strategy to individual performance plans. The target is unambiguous. Every engagement survey item shifts to highly satisfied, green, across the board within 12 months. A workforce that feels heard, developed, fairly treated, and clear on its purpose does not burn out. It builds up. Everything in this proposal is grounded in data, and the data at Mason General tells a story that demands urgent strategic response. Vacancy rates peaked at 25% in March of 22. 652 positions remain open. These positions currently take 81 days to fill on average. 36 nurse hires against 80 terminations in the current year. 44 active agency nurse contracts at nearly $30,000 per contract per month. Total agency spend in 2022, $11.97 million. This is both unrealistic and unsustainable for a top-ranking medical institution. Applying the NIH 6-step workforce planning model, Pinnacle HR Consulting Group has mapped a full supply and demand picture for Mason General. The gap is real. The solution is funded. Replacing 30 agency nurse contracts with internal float pool nurses, expanding our current float pool from 45 to 75 full-time equivalents, generates $7.9 million in annual savings. This single intervention funds entirely our retention bonus program, the child care subsidy, and children's scholarship funds, the Leadership Academy, increased education assistance, the transit benefit program, and the student loan reimbursement launch, with net savings remaining. Our workforce plan is not a cost. It is an investment with a documented return. Mason General already has the resources to become the employer of choice. These resources are currently being spent on agency nurses. We will redirect that investment towards our permanent workforce and watch vacancy rates fall, engagement scores rise, and outside agency contracts disappear. And that's good news. I want to share one final recommendation that no other consulting firm will bring to this conversation because it comes from a field I have spent my career building. Florence Nightingale understood in the year 1854 that healing is not only what happens in a treatment, it is what happens in an environment. Clean water, fresh air, quiet wards, and music. She was not decorating a hospital. She was engineering the physiologic conditions under which the human body heals itself. Mortality in Florence's wards fell from 42% to 2%. The science has caught up. Li Huisai's landmark research at MIT demonstrates that 40 Hz sensory stimulation reduces Alzheimer's pathology and clears amyloid through the brain's lymphatic system. Nobel Prize laureates Kaelin Ratcliffe and Semenza confirmed that cellular oxygen sensing and mitochondrial health are foundational to every human health outcome. And my own research at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health validates the prescriptive music model using rhythm, structure, tone, and instrumentation to elicit specific measurable physiologic changes, not entertainment, clinical intervention level music as medicine. Pinnacle HR Consulting Group recommends 2 music medicine initiatives for Mason General. First, a weekly Friday noon hour concert program for employees. 30 minutes, live music, weekly. The physiologic evidence for stress reduction, cortisol modulation, mood elevation, and staff community bonding is robust and replicable. The cost is minimal. The message to your workforce is profound. Mason General sees you as a whole human being and not just a labor unit. Thursday noon hour campus walks, Wednesday Toastmasters public speaking sessions, Tuesday Mason General Choir and Orchestra, and Monday Wake Up Yoga offerings build health life practices into our lifelong health culture. A structured patient music medicine program, prescriptive music protocols for surgical recovery, pain management, delirium prevention, and end-of-life comfort, positions Mason General as a pioneer in modern integrative whole-person clinical care. Where care and compassion come together, music is where they can meet. Mason General Medical Campus has earned something rare, a community that trusts it, a clinical reputation that precedes it, and a workforce that believes in it. Pinnacle HR Consulting Group has built a strategic roadmap to honor all 3. Recruit with mission and market competitive rewards. Build belonging through employee resource groups. Develop leaders from within. Engage every employee until the survey is green across the board. Plan the workforce with data and discipline, and heal both staff and patients alike with the full power of what evidence-based medicine now confirms. That environment, physiology, movement, meditation, and yes, music are not supplements to care. They are care. On behalf of Pinnacle HR Consulting Group, myself, Linda Hayes Bennett, and our colleagues, we thank you for this privilege of addressing you today. And lastly, I will say that diversity opens the door and excellence is what heals. Thank you for your time and attention. Goodbye.